Okay, so now let's talk about where we want you to start. You might have already started brainstorming your topic, or you might have already taken a look at the opposing viewpoints in context database. That's a great start. I have the directions for you here, but I'm going to walk you through it just in case you're a better audio-visual learner. So here we go. I'm going to click on opposing viewpoints. If you are at home, like I am, you are going to need to type in your password, which is Irish. We're going to click login. And of course, if you haven't settled on an issue, you can feel free to look at what's hot and trending right now. All of these have been updated, these topics here that they have listed for you. Or we can go ahead and browse all 467 issues. Another way to get there is at the very top, it says browse issues, so I can go here as well. And you can see here there's a plethora of issues to choose from. So make sure that you're actually choosing something that you want to research, that you want to know more about, and you can dive in. So I know that I kind of wanted to talk about gun control, or maybe I wanted to talk about the death penalty. They're not showing up death penalty here, so maybe I want to talk, maybe I need to think of a synonym for it, or of course I could also just type it here and find another name for it. So as I can see here, they're saying that another way to say it is capital punishment. So anyway, what you want to find is your topic page. You want to find an overview page because we're going to start by building a foundation. So here I am on the capital punishment topic page, and I'm at my overview source. This is really important. This is my first source that I need to collect. So I'm going to click on read more. And the reason why this is so important is because it really gives us like a historical context around our issue. How have we gotten to this point today with this issue in our context, right? So if you don't find a topic page like I have here, you need to at least find a page, maybe in one of the other databases, that is pretty much just laying down all the information for you. They're not really trying to convince you of anything, okay? So again, find an overview page, and we can just take a look at it. We have the development of death penalty laws, reform around it, the return of it, and then state reforms and controversies surrounding it. Now, yes, you're going to have to read this whole thing. This is research. Reading is very fundamental to good research. So I need to cite this. So I'm going to click on Cite. I'm going to export it to Noodle Tools. And you can see here it's asking me, do you want to put it in this project called gun control? I do, so I'm going to click on import reference, and at the very top we see that green line, which means it's now in there. So actually if I get out of here and I go to my Noodle Tools and I click on sources, here is the citation. Voila. Okay, now for each source you collect, you are going to need to write an annotation. Let me say that one more time. For each source you collect, you need to write an annotation. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on Options, Edit, and I'm going to go down here where I see my annotation box. What do I put in this annotation box? Well, first of all, let me point out that when you get to college, you're likely to encounter a bunch of professors who are going to ask you, do an annotated bibliography before you write a paper. What you need to look out for as a student is that every professor might want something different in that annotation. Typically, they want to know what the source is, what information you're getting from it, what the credibility of that source is. But in this case, what they would like you to do is they would like you, or your teachers would like you, to include this information. So I have it here so you can copy and paste it just like I am. And let me go back to my Noodle Tools here, and then I'm going to click on, I'm going to paste that in this box. And then I'm going to, after having read it, I'm going to actually write out the brief summary, of the source. And then we actually want you to pull out some quotes that are actually relevant to you that you might use in your presentation. So for example, if I wanted to use this piece of information, right? As the death penalty is incredibly costly and has not been proven to deter crime, it is both an inefficient and ineffective use of public resources. So I think that's going to be useful to me. And so in my Noodle Tools project, I'm highly encouraged, we love when we see this, to paste a direct quote in there. Of course, you need to remember to put the quotation marks around it, okay, so that you don't end up plagiarizing later. After you're collecting these quotes, we want you to respond to these quotes. So how do you plan to use this quote? Do you agree with it? Let's say I disagreed with this. Again, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it in here. Oops. And then remember to put my quotation marks around it. And then I will respond to this claim. And I'll explain, I'll explain why I don't agree with it. Yada, yada, yada. We want to see you responding to the information that you are interacting with. So, another thing you're going to want to include in this annotation is how will this source fit into your presentation. In this case, this is an overview, so it's giving me the historical context around my issue, but try to answer these questions as best as you can. We're not going to put a minimum. I'm not sure, we might have to ask your teachers, but just know that you should have maybe 1 or 2 short paragraphs answering or making up your annotation, okay? Again, the more quotes we see, the more encouraged we are that you're actually interacting with the information. So just do your best with these annotations. I will click Save. And that is, you can see here I have my information after my citation here. That's what you want to see. Okay. The next thing that I can find is, while I'm in this database already, I might as well go and find some views on it. So I'm going to go back to my topic page, and I can see here I have featured viewpoints and viewpoints. And so what I want to do is, feel free to click on these, and there we go. We can read all kinds of angles we can come at this argument with. Right? So there's featured viewpoints. I can go to viewpoints if I want to see some more. And you'll browse through that. I'm sure you'll find lots of information. And then we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to cite it, export it to Noodle Tools. Once I get it in there, go back to my sources. Here it is. I click Options, Edit, and then again, in my annotation, I am answering these questions, making sure to cover each of these points for this topic, okay? So you'll have a few paragraphs here answering and completing this annotation.